welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to celebrate the dedication of TJACE and to PVCC. We're so happy, so happy to have you here with us this morning. And so to kick us off, we're going to hear from our president, Frank Friedman.
Thanks, Carol. Well, welcome everybody. We're certainly glad you're here this morning. And this is a celebration. So you ask, what are we celebrating? Well, we're celebrating all the great work that TJACE does, but we're specifically celebrating that it's almost a year now that TJACE has been a part of Piedmont, Virginia Community College. So you might wonder, how did that happen? Well, our school superintendents who were on the board of TJACE came to us a while ago and said, you know what? We think if TJACE worked under PVCC, we could do more of channeling our students who are in GED and literacy programs into skill development programs, get them skills, get them jobs. And that it would be best for those students and for the community to merge that. So they came to us and asked us if we agreed and if we would be willing to have TJACE come under the PVCC umbrella. And tell you the truth, we thought it was a wonderful idea, and it has worked out tremendously. In less than a year, TJACE has served over 600 students. 25 have already received their GED this year, and I think there's another 10 who are right in that pipeline and will finish up pretty soon. And we have been able to not merge, that's not the right word. We have been able to create a pathway for those students into other programs at PVCC that you're going to hear about in a few minutes. Our Community Self-Sufficiency program, our Workforce Services program, to make sure that our students take those skills, expand on those skills, develop marketable skills so that they can go out, get good jobs, make good wages, support their families. And that's the whole idea behind self-sufficiency that we're so dedicated to. So this is a celebration. It's a celebration of the great work of everybody at TJACE, and it's a celebration for our community, and we're so glad you're here this morning. Our next speaker is going to go into a little bit more detail. He has the most unique title in the entire 1,100 community colleges in the nation. He is the Dean of Community Self-Sufficiency Programs, and that is a unique title, but it speaks volumes. It speaks to the fact that PVCC is really dedicated to helping individuals in our community become self-sufficient. And what's the best way to do that? Well, you can either hit the lottery or get education and training and a good job. So it's my pleasure to introduce Rich Skylar.
Good morning, everyone. It's a unique title and a long title, and I'm happy to have it. So the challenge of self-sufficiency in Charlottesville and Albemarle is that there are 5,600 families who do not earn enough to meet their most basic needs of food, shelter, clothing, and utilities, and the costs associated with working, which are generally childcare and transportation. To put that into some context, that's 17% of all families in our community. That's about 1 out of every 5. So that is the challenge that President Friedman and our community self-sufficiency team and all the team at PVCC is aimed at solving. So our program, the Network to Work program, began in 2014 with 10 job seekers. They were guinea pigs. I gave them all a head of lettuce and said, we're in this together. And the idea of it was, how do you find the people who've been left behind in our economy? Because a lot of them have been ill-served, perhaps, by institutions that are set up to help them. And so they often don't trust institutions. They're often isolated. A lot of them are single parents. How do you find those folks? Well, you can't find them by just posting a billboard and saying, here's an opportunity for you. What you need to do is grab them by the lapels and saying, I see great promise in you. Are you interested in becoming a certified nurse assistant, a bus driver, a HVAC mechanic? So we built a whole network, a peer network, that is socially well-connected people who go out into the community and find the folks who've been left behind and say, here's an opportunity that seems to suit your talents. What do we need to do in order to get you from here to there? So we started with this idea of this peer network, this job seeker network in 2014 with 10 people. As of the end of last year, we had served 305. And just this year alone, we have 218 job seekers that we are actively serving. So we are growing exponentially because the potential out there is exponential and the opportunities are exponential. Now, although every job seeker is unique, there are some characteristics which seem to cut across all the job seekers that we are serving. And I'm going to talk about 3 of those characteristics because they point also to what we do here at TJACE. First of all, these folks who've been left behind are teeming with potential. They have a lack of income, but not a lack of value. For many, TJACE at PVCC is where the potential comes to be realized and unearthed. The second characteristic is that life hasn't gone exactly as planned. Whether it's fleeing a war-torn country or a country that's been devastated economically, whether it's having a child before you intended to and having to drop out of high school, something has knocked them off course. They need support. They get that as soon as they step across the threshold into the warm embrace of the instructors and staff here at TJACE. I saw this firsthand. I see it every time I walk through the doors here, but I saw it firsthand on Tuesday night when I was heading to the Jefferson School because one of the instructors needed a key in order to get into her classroom, and I had the key. So I raced over there in my gym outfit, and I'm walking down the corridor, and the class is out in the corridor waiting to go into the classroom, and there is the instructor, Sharon, who's got a plastic bag full of water through which she has pierced pencils. So it looked like a sea urchin, but none of the water was leaking out. And she said, we didn't need to wait for you to open the door. We had our science class right out here in the corridor. I opened the door. They all filed past me, and I was heading out again, and 3 of them, and I don't remember how many students were in the classroom, but 3 of them stopped me and said, I just want to thank you for giving us this wonderful instructor. And I didn't have the heart to say, I had nothing to do with it. I just happened to have the key, and I'm opening the door. But she does that on her own. She doesn't need my help, but she does it with the help of Carol Coffey and the team here at TJACE. So that's the second characteristic, is people have been knocked off their path. The third characteristic is resilience. The folks who've been knocked off, they're folks with great potential who've been knocked off their course, yet they get up day after day and pursue their dreams as best they can. And that resilience was really highlighted to me again when I was at a GED graduation ceremony last fall, and the speaker, Rebecca Rush, gave a wonderful address. And she left her speech on the podium, all folded up, left her speech, and she'd gone, and we were cleaning up, and someone was going to throw it away, and I kept it because I was so moved by it. And I'm going to read just a little bit from that speech that she gave to show what people face but what they can overcome. This is what she said. When I was a little girl growing up, my childhood dream was to graduate high school, get married, have kids, and become a professional singer. Well, things changed in the summer of 1976 when I found out I was pregnant. I was too embarrassed to go back to school, so I made the decision to quit school and go to work instead. However, I did make a promise to myself that I would someday go back to school to get my diploma. Well, after 41 years, that time came. I contacted TJACE and inquired about their GED program. Well, little did I know that it would take me much longer than a few months to get through this. The math was so overwhelming. When Ms. Brenda started talking about polynomials, I said, "What's that and who invented it?" I suddenly realized that I had bitten off way more than I could chew. I wanted to give up. However, on January 30th, 2016, my sisters and I watched this movie called Facing Your Giants. It was a movie about facing your fears. After that movie, the dark place that I was in suddenly lit up. As soon as I started saying I can, I was able to do those polynomials and all those other math problems that I said I couldn't do. I went on to pass my first test in June 2016 and my final test on September 1st, 2017. Even though I didn't do them in the order that I had planned, 3 of my childhood dreams came true. I had my baby boy, who has grown up to be a handsome young man, a husband, and a father. My husband and I just celebrated 30 years of marriage. And after 41 years, I can finally and proudly say, I am a high school graduate. That's what they do here at TJACE. That's what they help students achieve, and we do it throughout PVCC. So I'll just conclude by saying, during the transition of TJACE from the public schools to PVCC, I have seen those same three characteristics in the staff and instructors here. The merging of these two institutions provides us with great potential. We are actively developing ways to integrate English language and GED instruction into technical skills training so that these job seekers can both get their GED and their English language instruction in the context of learning a technical skill that provides them employer-recognized value so they can immediately leave here and get quality work. And although things haven't always gone as planned, the team at TJACE has shown incredible resilience, driven by their mission. The students, instructors, and staff here have taken to heart the wisdom of Ralph Waldo Emerson, often quoted by Nelson Mandela. The glory of life comes not in never falling down, but in rising every time you fall. TJACE at PVCC helps people rise, and I'm honored to be associated with this team. Thank you. There isn't a gift bag that says dedication ceremony. There is one that says happy birthday, but I've given, this is to Carol. This is the speech that we found on the podium, and I want her to hang it in her office.
That's not a fun thing to do to someone right before they're getting ready to give a speech.
You're welcome.
Forgive me if I cry. Well, thanks so much for coming. And I am Carol Coffey. I'm the director of TJACE. And if you couldn't tell already, we are passionate about what we do. We really believe that all adults in our community should have access to education and training that they need to fulfill their destiny, to live their lives, to improve their lives, to get that first job, but also to have those core skills that they need to continue on that path, on that trajectory of climbing their ladder and reaching that point of sustainability. So the academic component of that is really, really important. Let me ask, do you have any idea how many adults in our region, which is Charlottesville, Albemarle, Greene, Nelson, Louisa, and Fleetana, how many adults in this area don't have a high school credential? Anybody got a guess? Some of you have heard me say this before, so you should know. About 21,000. So it's a lot of people in our area right here, our neighbors, our people that we see every day that don't have that credential. And we all know how not having that credential is just a major obstacle to that career progression. So also, there are thousands of folks in our community that don't speak English well, that have come here from other native-speaking places, and they're trying desperately to learn our language so that they can come and be productive and live their lives here. So these are the two groups of people that we really target and try to serve. And we're so lucky. We are so lucky that we get to work with them every day. So we hear their stories. We hear their stories about the reasons why they had to drop out of high school. And there are many, lack of family support, someone gets sick in the family. We also hear those stories from the refugees and immigrants that come to us to learn the English language, the struggles, the obstacles that they've overcome just to get here to start a new life. So we welcome all who want to learn. And whatever the reason, wherever they're from, we see that pure potentiality. Is that a word? The pure potential that they all have. You can see that it's just waiting to be ignited. And we know that education is the spark that will light that fire. So we do frame our work in the context of the workforce development system. We're part of the Piedmont Workforce Network. And why would that be? Well, because employers know, like we know, that mastering these basic core skills is essential to productivity in the workplace. You have to really know, you have to really have mastered reading, writing, speaking, listening, and math to be able to perform or to be able to grow with a job. And that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we're all about. So we try to organize our program into sort of 3 strands. We have the English language learning strand. We have all levels of that. We have the core skill strands, which is building those core skills leading towards the high school credential. And we have 2 options. We have the GED and we have the NEDP, which we'll get to hear about more in just a little bit. And then we have this 3rd strand that Ridge talked about that we're really excited about and see as a really promising programming option for folks, where you integrate those 2, where you have these core skills in English language being developed while you're earning a workplace credential. Doing it at the same time, integrating math and integrating the vocabulary and the language into the context of whatever that credential is that someone is working towards. Just makes good common sense, doesn't it? So those are some of the things that we are working on now. Right now, we are doing that in the hospitality arena and in the healthcare arena, and we're looking to increase the depth and the breadth of those offerings. So we have about 30 classes going on throughout the area. We have face-to-face classes. We have online learning programs. We're about at 600, and typically we serve about 700 or 800 folks every year. And we still run our programming through the end of June, so we still have time to hit that mark. And we also offer workplace-based programming in the workplace, in the employer's space for literacy development through some contract training that we offer. We have about 35 team members, talented team members of TJACE who really make this happen. We have a couple of them with us today. We have Jim and Debbie and Lisa, if y'all want to raise your hands. Please, after we finish, yeah. Others are smattered throughout the building working right now, working with students. So they would be happy to talk with you, during the mingle time and tell you more about the important work that they do. We also sponsor 2 really things that have become a community tradition, events every year. So we just had our Voices of Adult Learners, which is part of the Festival of the Book event, and it was in our 22nd year. It was our 22nd year of doing that. So what happens with this is our students write stories, and then they enter a contest, and the winners actually get to come and read their stories at the event. It's just so amazing. And then coming up on May 12th, mark your calendar, we have our Festival of Cultures event. So there's postcards as you leave. Grab one so you'll put it down on your calendar and come. This is our 15th year. And we're having it this year in Washington Park. But what this allows is students from around the world who come to us, they get to present artifacts and food and jewelry from their home countries and share that with the rest of the community. It's just an amazing event. And it's not just our students. We have other people from the community coming in and making exhibits too. We have lots of really cool performances with music and dancing, and it's just a really fun day. So we hope you'll join us there. Okay, so this is sort of TJACE in a 3-minute snapshot. But you ask yourself, like, does this work? Is it worth it? And I'm so happy that we have one of our former students here to talk to you today about her experience with us and what it has meant for her. So Miss Sharon Eldridge, in order to get her Charlottesville High School diploma, she went through our NEDP program, National External Diploma Program, which requires that you complete 70 competencies at 100% accuracy in order to earn this diploma. Wow, it covers everything from like literature to science to geography to history to financial literacy. It covers the whole gamut of things that you would typically have in a high school curriculum. And it takes a lot of perseverance, it takes a lot of commitment, and Sharon stuck with it, she stuck with it. Sometimes you have to do these competencies 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got someone right now who's on her 10th round with a particular competency. You do it till you get to that 100% mark. So that perseverance is so important. Well, Sharon stuck with it, and we were so happy that she became our first NEDP graduate about a year ago, last spring. So thank you, Sharon, and we're so happy to that you're here and look forward to hearing what you have to say about what this has meant for you. Come on up.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I want to start out, though, in a different way. As you know, this week, Barbara Bush passed away. I had no idea after looking at the news that she was such an advocate for literacy. So I want to quote something that she said. Then I want to do a moment of silence for her. Then we'll go forward. These are her words. I choose literacy because I honestly believe that if more people could read, write, and comprehend, we would be that much closer to solving many of the problems that plagues our nation and our society. So let's do our moment of silence for her. Thank you. I can't believe it's almost a year. On the 24th of this month, it'll be a year for me of graduating from being the first person to graduate from the NADP program. Man, it was hard. But I had a lot of wonderful people here at this program to encourage me, because the math was hard, and to encourage me to just continue to move forward. Lisa and I became very close during this program. It taught me how to do just what I'm doing right now, being able to stand in front of all of you beautiful people and speak. And I can't believe that I'm doing that today. It has taught me to never give up on yourself. You are an investment, which allow all of these wonderful people to invest in you. I have been working for university for 20 years this year, and I was working on the academic side. Now I work at the hospital as a HUC, which is a health unit coordinator. I like my job. I'm able to do that because of the investment that each one of you put into me. You never allowed me to give up. You kept telling me I could, and I did. I love this poster because this is my next step because of all of you. This program works if you work it. This program has given me so much. I was out of school for 34 years. 34 years. And to be able to come back with a strong comeback and that I'm not finished, it's awesome. It's because of all of you. Whether you're going back to school to get your GED, NADP, or go back to college, all of you wonderful people will allow you to do just this. I am truly honored to be a part of this program. I tell everybody about the NADP program that I meet, and it's hard work and what you can do and how you can do it, and it's just been a truly amazing program for me. My computer became my best friend. It was times I wanted to throw my best friend on the floor though. But I needed that It was times I wanted to give up, but I had my wonderful family, my husband, my daughter, to push me. And again, all of you. The program works. Step out on faith, believe in yourself, never give up on yourself. The program works. I am just so amazed by all of the things that I have been able to do by doing the program. And even before then, I have had the opportunity to go to Richmond with Carol and speak at the General Assembly. Again, I stand here today and speak in front of you. I have had the opportunity to speak at last year's GED program. When I tell you it works if you work it, is it hard? Yes, it really do work. It really does work. I know, I graduated. I thank all of you for all that you have done. I will continue to speak on the NADP program that I like so much, but I will always encourage someone. I encourage a lot of people at the hospital. I've had people come to me at the hospital and say, I saw you somewhere. I'm like, and then they'll tell me where I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about to stop thinking and go do it. You have a lot of support there. You have a lot of support. Make sure that you have support at home, because if you do not have support at home, it'll work if you work it still. But don't let negative people stop you from doing something that is going to help you, because you are the main investment. And there's nothing wrong with investing in yourself. Nothing at all wrong with investing in yourself. I have one more thing I want to say, and then I'm done. I also love Nelson Mandela. And he said, and I quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." I say, education is the most powerful thing that you could use to change yourself. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I think all of us have got a few tears in our eyes after these powerful speeches this morning. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon is just our shining star, and we are so grateful to her for her advocacy and being an ambassador for us in the community. And thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we have a really beautiful spread of delicious foods and coffee that we sure hope you'll grab something and continue to stay and talk with our staff members, walk around, peek in on the classes if you want. We have lots of literature up front that tells you more about the GED and the NADP and all of our programming. Once again, we are so excited to be part of the PVCC family. It's a perfect natural fit for us. We're delighted that we're here. We're appreciative of all the support, and we really thank all of you for coming out to celebrate with us today. Thank you.